Which metal do you choose?
Silver. It's got the precious metal part. It's got that part where you want to ensure your financial security against calamity and the overprinting of dollars. It's got a big industrial demand, and that's important.
But when silver has a use, is there really an alternative?
No.
Welcome to Silver Heist. Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. We are a channel that likes to hold physical gold and silver. To support my creation, please subscribe.
So today's interview is sponsored by Apollo Silver. I'd like to thank them for making their leader available for this interview. Hello, Mr. Bowering. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Robert. Thanks very much for having me.
With the medium-term outlook, we're having a pickup basketball game. All the precious metals and base metals are there. You're the team captain and you have the first pick. Which metal do you choose?
Silver.
Okay, great. Can you explain the case for picking silver first?
Yeah, sure. Silver ticks a few of the boxes that you look for, and that's that there's a significant industrial demand for it. So it's not just it's got the precious metal part. It's got that part where you want to ensure your financial security against calamity and the overprinting of dollars. It's got a big industrial demand, and that's important because if you believe in the thesis of the greening of the earth and EVs becoming more and more prevalent and solar power and less reliance on fossil fuels, and silver plays a big part in that. It's used in photovoltaic cells. It's used in electric vehicles. It's used in all the battery storage systems. It's used a lot. And so it's got that demand side. And then on the supply side, it's usually a byproduct from the mining of copper, lead, zinc, nickel, and there are very few pure silver plays. It's a market that's constantly in physical shortage, and yet there's probably a really good growth future for it. And then if you want me to compare that to gold, and I
Sure.
run a gold silver explorer developer called Prime Mining, but gold's one of those. It doesn't have that same industrial demand. It's used in fabrication of jewelry, so adornment. And the millennials don't seem that keen about all the jewelry and that physical adornment, and so without a big future demand for jewelry, then where's gold's demand? There is a demand for it in that precious metal insurance and your hedge against inflation, but then Bitcoin and all those cryptos are starting to enter into that.
So, I mean, platinum and palladium are a little bit interchangeable industrial wise with catalytic converters, but when silver has a use, is there really an alternative?
No, there's nothing as reflective, nothing as malleable, nothing as conductive as silver. And it costs a hell of a lot less than platinum. And
right. Yeah. So it has a use, it's not replaceable, and the uses just keep expanding.
That's right.
So what is your sentiment towards silver prices in kind of the medium term, say 3 or 5 year timeline?
So people always ask that, and I don't like to pick prices. I like to pick trends, and timing's everything in this space. And there's been, 8 or 9 years of pain in the precious metal trade. It went bad in 2011, and it's been bad ever since until 2 years ago. It started to turn around, and I think that we're early in that trend. I think that you're going to see a pretty good future for the price of precious metals, and where it goes, I don't know, but things can beat old highs, and the price of everything from gasoline to the can of peas is all escalating in price over the last few years as the print continues in all the top countries around the world that can print money. So prices are higher. Is it $30, $40, $50? I don't know, but it's higher, and you get a big supply squeeze, and prices can move pretty quick.
You were saying timing is everything. Can you give some examples in your past where you were right on timing?
Yeah, so I was right in the early 2000s. I started a gold exploration company in 2002, sold out in 2007 and get great return for shareholders. And the ounces that we drilled off are been bought by a more significant gold producer now and are going into production very soon. More recently, I entered the lithium trade in late 2015 with a market cap of $7.5 million and a 15-cent stock. And right now, the two biggest Chinese lithium companies are battling it out at a $400 million takeout. And then I started Prime Mining at a 20-something million market cap in 2019 when gold was $1,260 and Prime Mining's at a 500 million market cap right now. And I think now the time's right for a silver trade. So
I'm wondering how you would relate to the idea of the man who went up a hill and came down a mountain. Do you experience looking around for opportunities to gain perspective, or do you seek out one specific thing?
No, so I look around for opportunities and I usually take my time. And so, when we decided to enter the precious metals trades again, we spent a year before we found the right gold asset to go into Prime. And then when some of the original shareholders of Prime and my other company, American Lithium, which is also a $500 million market cap company, when they said, what do you think about doing a silver company? I said, yeah, but I got to find the right asset and that's going to take some time. And we spent over a year looking. We were close on something in Peru. We got close on something big in Mexico. And then this gentleman came into my office with these assets in California and Arizona. And it ticked all the boxes that we look for when we take something on and the boxes that, had complications around, we thought that they were small enough to move on it. So yeah, you take your time, you find the right thing, and then you go build the management team and everything else and go from there.
So what makes Apollo Silver and your properties and the West Coast attractive and special?
Well, first of all, jurisdiction. So being in the United States North America is a great idea, and the United States is solid. It's a tier 1 jurisdiction. The assets that are in Apollo are in California. They're in San Bernardino County, which is a district that has more mines per county in San Bernardino than anywhere else in the US. And so it's not, my CEO says it's not Napa Valley, and it's not. You've got a Rio Tinto mine, and then on the other side of us, a Castle Mountain gold mine. And so it's a place where you can do business. It was a well-known historic mineral deposit, and it was available to get purchased along with some adjoining ground that also has some really interesting resources. And so we were able to couple them together, and we think that there's significant upside in doing that.
So you've identified and bought a past explored territory, and so it came with some data. What can you tell us about starting a project and having some data?
It's valuable, so I'll give you a good example. In 2019, we did a deal in Prime Mining on an asset called Los Reyes in Mexico, and the owners of it were busy with another project. And no disrespect to them, they're busy trying to advance a mine, and it's going to produce gold soon. But because they focused on that, they weren't focusing on this other asset, and so I was able to buy it from them. But we bought it on the public information that was available. And then when we went to get the private data that was in their control, we actually found out that there was 28 boxes of data that they had never seen and were in the offices of a bigger company called Vista Gold, who held the project for years. And anyway, that data proved very valuable to us. And if your listeners go and say follow up on Prime Mining, they can look at some of the results and the things that are coming out recently about the company. And it's very clear that what we went through in all that hidden data led us to something very significant and that just got overlooked before. So I think that people don't, we're always quick to, I don't know. I remember in high school or something like that, like somebody would say, that girl's stuck up or he's a bully or something. And then you got to meet that person. And they really weren't what everyone else said they were. People build perceptions and are quick to judge on things. And so you got to get into it yourself and have a look and figure out where the value is in it and what it isn't. And so that's what I think about this space. And I think that we're on to another one. We've got a really good track record.
With the data that you have, if you counted the silver that you believe to be in the ground, what was your cost per ounce?
About 30 cents an ounce. So, the silver that's in the ground, unfortunately, because we're a new company picking it up and we have to comply with 43101, which are reporting requirements. To us, it's a historic resource. Now, no one's mined the silver out, there was some mining there, but the silver that Pan American, the company we bought it from, says, when they say there's 100-something million ounces there's a good chance there's 100-something million ounces there. And the neighboring property at 50 or 60 million ounces, there's a good chance it's there because the previous operators, Asarco and Superior Oil, they're real deals. It's not BS. And so, but we have to jump through the hoops and go through the protocols and prove the integrity of the data and the chain of custody of the data. And when we do that, I think that we're going to show the market and our followers that that all of the historic resources that we're allowed to say there are actually current and going to be, 4101 compliant ounces of gold. And I think the project's got upside from there. And so do it's not just me in this company. There's some pretty good talent behind the company. And we're going to suggest that, this company can get itself to 170, 180 million ounces of silver. And
so you put the band back together and quickly raised $50 million for this reunion tour. Can you shed some light and spotlight on the members of your band?
Absolutely. So I guess I lead the band and I've been around for 30 some odd years and I run two other companies, Prime Mining, and I suggest people have a look at that. And American Lithium, another strong $500 million market cap company with 45,000 US shareholders. And so when we started Apollo Silver, part of the band was Simon Clark, my CEO at American Lithium, been with me for over 20 years. And we have done 3 deals now together, and the last 2 got bought out and all shareholders had an exit at a higher level. And that was good. Most recently, 2 years ago with a cobalt company. Tom Peregudoff is the CEO, and Tom spent 18 years with BHP, a world giant in the mining industry, and then 7 years as a CEO in the Friedland organization. And Robert Friedland builds companies like Ivanhoe Mines, which I don't know, must have a 7 or 8 billion market cap right now. And he got Diamond Fields, which was a big nickel discovery, taken out by Inco for $4.2 billion in the late 90s. And anyway, Tom Peregudoff was a CEO there, and Tom came to join us as a CEO. He's a wonderful leader, gets the business. He built up Peregrine Diamonds, which got bought by De Beers, the big diamond giant. And he came out of semi-retirement to join me on this one. And then Tom has started to fill the office with some other strategic people. Kathy Fitzgerald, VP Exploration, who's done all kinds of modeling in the past and dealt with resources just like this. So she fits in well. There's a couple other environmentally focused people that are joining the party. And we got a project manager that's real familiar with projects like this that's heading to site. And so good group.
For Apollo Silver, what's your plan going forward?
Well, so the first step is to get on the ground, which we've done over the last couple of weeks. sometime in the next month and a half, we'll get started on some exploration, and that would be some geophysics and some geochemistry and some sampling on surface. That would be followed up with some drilling. And somewhere in the mix there, we're going to be able to confirm the current resource that's on that property. And that would be the first big significant event for the company when we actually convert that from a historic resource to a 43-101 compliant resource and tell everybody exactly what it is. Then we should get a re-rating around that. And then from there, it's exploration to develop or to see how much larger the resource can be. And keep in mind that we bought the one asset from Pan American and the other one from Langtree from a private group of individuals. Together, the two pieces have opportunity. Lots of times when you buy properties that are side by side that have been held by different entities, you end up getting returns to scale, and the things that are between them, the deeper parts, the outer limits, it ends up being 1 and 1 is 5. And so we're really looking forward to seeing what the whole overall project looks like combined for the first time since the mineralization was laid down. And this is all in the absence of whether the silver market goes up or the silver market goes down. But when we buy these things, we don't buy them based on silver market going up. We think, can we make money? Can we even make money at $16 or $18 on this, rather than say the 24 or 23 it's trading up? But somewhere along the game, we might look to pick up other assets. There's other, we are always looking at other things. It's one asset companies can struggle. It's always good in life to have a plan B in everything. And this company has the Arizona Silver District, which is another grassroots project. We're really looking forward to taking a step back and having a dig into there and see what's there. That can be just ripe for a brand new greenfields discovery. And you get those things going and people start to take notice. So, I think that it's early in the game. This is our new one. It trades about a market cap of $150 million. And you compare it to, say, some of the other things we do, they're significantly higher. I think you give this group some time and the shareholders behind this, and I think it'll look better down the road.
So I'm going to leave a link below in the description to your company's website and any presentations there. What are your ticker symbols?
Ticker symbol is APGO, Apollo Silver, APGO. And then on the OTCQB, it's APGOF.
Anything else that you'd like to add?
Here, I'll say this. There are very few pure silver plays, especially that are focused in the United States. There is a vacuum between 200 million market cap and $1 billion market cap. And so there's a fabulous run room in there for us to build this up, to advance it, to expand it, and to fill that gap that's in that market. And then ultimately see if we can find, that entity that's out there that wants the couple 100 million ounce silver company and come and take us out when we get there.
Well, enjoy the journey. Mr. Bowering, it was great talking with you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Robert. Really appreciate it.